Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 20th, 2024 Council meeting of Clark. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll when you get a chance?
Councilman Hund.
Here.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Here.
Councilman Minetti.
Here.
Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Toll.
Here.
Council President Albanese.
Here, I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, as adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing the annual schedule of meetings to the Star-Ledger, Union County Hawk, Union County Local Source, and Tappan to Clark, by posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board and town hall reserved for such announcements, the official website of the township, and the proper filing of said notice. Formal action may be taken at this meeting.
Council, can I have a motion to suspend the regular order of business? Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Thank you, Councilman Hund. Okay, we're going to, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we have some special presentations. So we're going to start off with the police promotion and police department awards presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the May Township Council meeting. As Council President just said, we have a busy night tonight with different awards and proclamations and things of that nature. So without further ado, I will introduce our police captains, Captain Miguel Acabo and Captain Christian Lott. Come on up, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, good evening. Mayor Sal Bonacorso, Business Administrator Jim Ulrich, Madam Council President Angel Albanese, council members, Clerk Edith Merkel, distinguished guests, family, friends, and community members. But before we begin, I would like to personally thank Mayor Sal Bonacorso, Business Administrator Jim Ulrich, and council members for their unwavering support and generosity. The support that we have received is not merely a contribution, but a testament to your commitment to enhancing the well-being of our citizens, so thank you very much. I would like to welcome you all to the John E. Laza Memorial Courtroom and to the 2024 Clark Police Awards and Promotion Ceremony honoring our officers. I would like to call on Captain Chris Lott to do the honors in welcoming an officer who has been doing really great work for us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Captain Chris Lott. I am the captain in the Detective Bureau. And to start off tonight, we're going to start off with a swearing in. So we're going to swear Josh Weber into the position of traffic detective. Josh, if you and your family could come on up. So a little bit about Josh. He is a 2012 graduate of Dayton High School. Once he graduated from Dayton, he left and he joined the U.S. Marines, where he went to Parris Island and was trained as a radio operator. Josh served 6 years in the Marine Corps, and once he left the Marine Corps, he then went to Union County College, where he got credits in criminal justice and business sports management. He was hired by Union County Corrections in the summer of 2015. He graduated the Stamler Police Academy in December of 2015 and then worked for the sheriffs in 15 and 16. In 2017, he transferred here. When Josh first transferred here, I was back on the road, and I was his supervisor when he first started his training. And he's been with us ever since. In the last 8 years, he's become a field training officer. He's received several Mothers Against Drunk Driving awards, 3 Distinguished Service awards, and he is an expert in defensive tactics and training. He's gone to the Gracie level trainings 1 and 2, and he is a defensive tactics instructor who is certified with the FBI. During his 8 years on patrol, he has been especially adept in the areas of DWI, has all the trainings that go along with that, and will soon become a DRE, which is an expert in the administration of field sobriety tests for people who are under the influence. Josh, you deserve this. You did a very good job on patrol. Congratulations, and Mayor Bonacorso is now going to swear you in.
Josh, welcome. Josh and family, welcome. Who would like to hold the Bible? Come on over, Josh, a little bit this way. Right hand up, please. You have to go the other way. Put your left hand on the Bible. Best you can there. Don't drop precious stuff, whatever you do. Okay, repeat after me. I, Joshua Weber,
I, Joshua Weber,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of New Jersey,
and of the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the Office of Detective Traffic Bureau,
all the duties of the office of
Detective Traffic Bureau,
Detective of the Traffic Bureau,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities,
for the Township of Clark,
for the Township of Clark,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Detective. Put it on.
Yeah. I'll come here. Come on closer, Chris.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, you're up.
Go get them. You're giving them away, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Captain Lott, and congratulations to Detective Weber. Well deserved. So tonight, we gather not only to celebrate the bravery, dedication, and unwavering commitment of our officers, but also reflect on the crucial role they play in safeguarding our communities. As we honor these exceptional individuals, let us remember the profound impact that they have on our daily lives. They are the silent sentinels, often unnoticed and always vigilant, ensuring that our neighborhoods remain safe and secure. Their service is marked by countless acts of heroism, compassion, and selflessness, often under the most challenging circumstances. Last year has been particularly significant as our officers have faced unprecedented challenges with resilience and resolve, from responding to public safety emergencies to engaging in community building initiatives. Their efforts have been exemplary and inspiring. Tonight's awards recognize those who have gone above and beyond embodying the highest standards of our profession. First and foremost, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the family members present here tonight. Your support and sacrifices are the bedrock upon which our officers are strong and stand strong. We understand the unique challenges that come with supporting law enforcement professionals, and your unwavering encouragement is invaluable. So as we proceed with tonight's ceremony, let us celebrate the achievements of these remarkable men and women. They are not just recipients of awards, they are the embodiment of courage, integrity, and dedication. Through their actions, they set powerful example for us all and inspire the next generation of law enforcement officers. Again, thank you for being here tonight to share this momentous occasion, and let us proceed to honor the achievements of our award recipients. So the first award is our Life Saving Award. It goes to Detective Paul Sosnowski, Nick Kurros, and Police Officer Cassandra Kinney. Come on up. For their combined efforts on Saturday, July 16, 2022, in performing CPR and employing an AED on an unresponsive 25-year-old, ultimately regaining a pulse before the male was transported to the hospital. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Our second award is the Life Saving Award, going to Police Officer Michael D'Angelo and Police Officer Brandon McKenna. For their combined efforts on Wednesday, July 27, 2022, in performing CPR and employing an AD on an unresponsive 70-year-old male at the LA Fitness and ultimately regaining a pulse before the male was transported to the hospital. Congratulations. The next award is a platoon award and a written commendation. Sergeant Michael Ciaccio, Sergeant Omar Almeida, Detective Daniel Joy, Detective Paul Sosnowski, Detective Andrew Medeiros, Police Officer Giovannina Prisco, Police Officer Brandon McKenna, Police Officer Patrick Delome, Dispatcher Tom Bazinski, and Dispatcher Joseph Gribben. Please come on up. For their collaborative efforts on Saturday, May 6, 2023, during a period of an attempted motor vehicle burglaries, officers responded to a foot pursuit radioed in by Sergeant Ciaccio. With collaborative efforts from outside agencies, the Union County Police Drone Unit was requested, deployed, and emitting a heat source on its display when the suspect was hiding, trying to evade officers. Subsequently, he was arrested and charged with obstruction of the administration of law, resisting arrest, and other theft-related offenses. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Our next award is the Exceptional Service Award, Sergeant Michael Ciaccio and Police Officer Patrick Delome. Distinguished Service Award, Sergeant Omar Almeida, and written commendations to our civilians Tommy Harrison and Danny Incravaya. Please come on up. Yes, it should. Oh, it should be there. For their collaborative efforts on Saturday, July 1st, 2023, while responding to a call on an individual suffering from an acute mental health episode and reasonably believing that medical attention was needed. As they tried to assist the individual, a struggle ensued and a black handgun fell from the individual's waistband. Officers gained control of the individual with assistance of two civilians, successfully placing him in handcuffs and providing him with medical attention needed. Transporting him to the hospital, ultimately he was charged with a third-degree aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, third-degree resisting arrest by force, and third-degree unlawful possession of a weapon. Congratulations.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Our next award is another life-saving award. It goes out to Police Officer Mazar El-Wardani, Police Officer Michael D'Angelo, and Police Officer Joshua Weber. For their combined efforts on Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, in performing CPR and employing an AED on an unresponsive 49-year-old male, and ultimately regaining a pulse before the male was transported to the hospital. Congratulations. We have another life-saving award going out to Sergeant Christopher Tuccio, Police Officer Brandon Pitts, Police Officer Alexander Ruiz, Police Officer Cassandra Kenny, and Dispatcher Kelly Lipinski. Please come on up. For their combined efforts on Friday, September 15, 2023, in performing CPR and employing an AED on unresponsive 73-year-old male, and ultimately regaining a pulse before the male was transported to the hospital. Congratulations.
Good job, thank you.
Next award goes to an Administrative Service Award to Special Law Enforcement Officer 1, Robert Tarantino. Please come on up. So during the course of the 2023 year, Special Law Enforcement Tarantino exceeded his job description and voluntarily accepted numerous assignments during and at all times of the day, including but not limited to funeral escorts, funeral details, and traffic control posts at a moment's notice. This is not characterized by loyalty and devotion, but duty to the department. Congratulations. The next award goes out to Chief Secretary Gina Moretta, and it is an Administrative Service Award. In recognition of outstanding dedication, professionalism, and exemplary services as the Chief Secretary, your commitment to maintaining the highest standards of administrative support has greatly contributed to the efficiency and effectiveness of our police department. Your meticulous attention to detail, exceptional organizational skills, and unwavering support have set a standard of excellence that enriches our department. Thank you, Gina. Captain Chris Lott, you want to come and present your detective awards?
Okay, our last two awards tonight go to individuals who work in our Detective Bureau. The first one is an Honorable Service Award for Detective Bruce McDonald, who was the head detective on this case, and a Platoon Award for the other detectives who assisted him with it, Detective Brian Sue, Stanley Joy, Mark DeTore, and Paul Sosnowski. So this award stems from a months-long investigation that Detective McDonald spearheaded into burglaries to to houses where they were looking to steal high-end motor vehicles. People think that these type of investigations are like TV and things pop up on screens, but it takes a lot of time to pour through hours and hours of surveillance footage and put this all together and write warrants. And it literally took them an entire summer to put this together. But of the 12 burglaries that occurred over the summer, they were able to charge in 10 of them. And it was a crew that was going around and burglarizing houses and then going in and stealing their cars. They did a great job on this, and they should be commended for it. All right, last but not least is our Administrative Service Award that is going to be given to Debbie D'Angelo. Debbie, come on up. Debbie is about to be very unhappy with me because today she said to me, "Don't say anything about me, I'm just doing my job." And I told her that in the 17 years that I have worked in public service, I have never worked with anybody who is better at their job than Debbie. She first started here 27 years ago as a dispatcher, and for the last 15 or so years, as long as I've been here, she has been the Detective Bureau secretary. She's not just a secretary, she is the sixth detective in there. She can pick out what kind of car it is from a grainy surveillance video. She knows everything that goes into every job and how to do it correctly. She's meticulous, she's dedicated, and she does anything to the best of her ability and goes way, way above and beyond. And what I said earlier, and I'm not just saying that, I've worked with a lot of people, and Debbie is the best. Congratulations, Debbie.
Okay, captains, thank you very much. And I'd like to also recognize Lieutenant Sophia Santos from the Union County Prosecutor's Office here with us. She's been here a couple of years, 2-3 years now, and is assisted and helped us, and a pleasure to work with each and every day. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for all you do each and every day. This community appreciates you. Myself and this council appreciate you. And the only thing I can tell you from the bottom of my heart is just stay safe. That's all we ask, okay? Everything else we can deal with. So God bless you all, and thank you so much. Next, we're going to get on to the basketball awards, and then the end gun violence folks are here. We're going to get on to that. 1 second, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor said, we're going to move on to the team recognition of the Clark Travel Basketball 8th grade boys team for their success this season.
Okay, 1 second.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you guys.
You can, if you want.
Congratulations, man. All the best. Best of health to everybody. Congratulations, guys. Awesome.
Okay, let's get started on the next award. I'd like to congratulate the 23-24 Clark 8th grade boys basketball team, and overall record this year 31-10 for the 23-24 season. 8th grade champs of the 2024 travel basketball tournament, which is a very prestigious tournament. Completed 6 years of travel basketball, winning the Clark tournament in 4th and 8th grades. Again, very impressive. Advanced to multiple league championship games in the Central Jersey League and in the Jersey Basketball League. We'd like to congratulate you young guys for a very job well done. I'd like to call up first Ray Gunzarowski, the head coach, Steve Ortiz, the assistant coach, and Taras Malski, assistant coach. Come on up, please. Say a few words.
Sure.
Okay, here you go. Oh, I'm sorry. Where do I go? Okay, hold on. We'll give you these when you can take them for them. Okay,
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Township Council, for taking the time to recognize us here today. As the mayor noted, these guys had a really great season, 31-10. Started off with a great fall season where, you know, anytime you get a chance to beat some of our local rivals, even in a fall league, it's a great thing. Westfield, Scotch Plains, we know we like to beat those guys. So that was a really good start to our year. And then these guys really, you know, they put in the effort. They were playing on the Conf team all year, as well as as well as playing with us. And I just thank Coach Steve, Coach Terrace for all of the effort that they've put in over these last 6 years in trying to get these guys ready to go off to high school and be successful. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys do in the future. Hopefully, the people in the community get an opportunity to come see these guys play, because they're fun. They're fun kids. They're really exciting to be around. So, thanks. Yeah, I could call them out.
Sure.
Chris Brand.
Say their name even if they're not
Yep.
here.
Matt Telrico. Stephen Ortiz. Logan Downey. Derek Gunzarowski. Unable to be here tonight, Justin Majewski. Julian Colon. And Roman Malski.
Come on in, we'll take a picture, guys. Good in. Come on down, good boys. You can take these with you.
I will.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem, my pleasure. Squish it, come on. We can do it. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you again.
Ray. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, congratulations, boys, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you at the high school next year. Should be an exciting year. And next, we have a proclamation. Madam Clerk, will you read it into the record, please? Will the ladies for the end gun violence please come on up and join me? It's good to have you back again this year. Second year or third? Second. Okay, that's what I thought. Perfect. Welcome back to Clark. Good. How are you tonight? Good to see you. Edie's going to read this into the record. We'll present it to you.
Whereas every day, 120 Americans are killed by gun violence and more than 200 are shot and wounded, with an average of nearly 18,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to be murdered with guns than people in other developed countries. And whereas protecting public safety in the communities they serve is Mayor's highest responsibility. And whereas support of the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from dangerous people. And whereas mayors and law enforcement officers know their communities best, are the most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. And whereas June 7th, 2024, would have been the 27th birthday of Hadia Pendleton, a teenager who marched in President Obama's second inaugural parade and was tragically shot and killed just weeks later. And whereas to help honor Hadia and the 91 Americans whose lives are cut short and the countless survivors who are injured by shootings every day, a national coalition of organizations has designated June 7th, 2024 as the 10th annual National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadia's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange. They chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods, and orange is the color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 7th to help raise awareness about gun violence, and whereas by wearing orange on June 7th, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives and lost human potential of Americans stolen by gun violence. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. Now therefore be it resolved that Mayor Sal Bonacorso and the Township of Clark declares June 7th to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. I encourage all citizens to support their local community's efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. Signed, Mayor Sal Bonacorso.
I thank you, Mayor Bonaccorso and the Council of Clark and citizens for honoring the 10th National Gun Violence Awareness Day and Wear Orange Weekend, which will be, as we said, June 7th of this year. We talked about the reason why we honor it. It was started for Hadia Pendleton, who, by her friends as she was tragically shot and killed. We wear orange because orange was Hadia's favorite color, but it's also the color that hunters wear to stay safe while they're hunting. And that's what this day is about. A couple things: increasing awareness about gun violence in our communities. We all know that it's a terrible incident that happens in the United States that doesn't happen in other countries, and so we like to raise that awareness. We also want to encourage responsible gun ownership and safe storage of guns to keep guns out of the hands of children, because more so than disease or car accidents, actually gun violence is the leading cause of death of children in the United States. And we know that there are simple, common sense solutions to those issues, like keeping our guns out of the hands of people who don't have them, locking up your guns, and supporting common sense solutions such as that. We'd also like to invite the community to 2 events that we're having on Wear Orange Weekend. June 1st in Plainfield, we're having a march that goes from the Performing Arts Center to the Town Hall. That's on June 1st starting at 8 a.m. And then also in Summit, we're having a rally on Friday, June 7th at 6 p.m. So we'd invite everybody who would like to come and wear orange on that day to support our cause. All are welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank these fine ladies for their diligence and their efforts in keeping people safe. And we do support you and admire you for all you do. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam President. Turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Bonaccorso. At this time, if anyone would like to leave, you're welcome to stay and join us with the legislative business of the evening. But otherwise, have a good evening and congratulations, boys. Great to see you. Thanks for coming here.
Guys, take care. Ralph. It's always good to have the neighbors here.
Okay, Council, I'd like a motion to move on with the regular order of business.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. All in favor? Aye. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to communications from the mayor and reports of township officers. So, Mayor, back to you.
Yes, thank you again, Madam President. I'll try to be brief. Month of May, grass pickup is started. Please each week get it out in a biodegradable bag, and our DPW will be around to pick it up. Branch cleanup, we are in the 3rd week of the month. This is the week to get them out. The DPW will be here next week to remove them off their street. Folks, again, I say it all the time, please try to adhere to this schedule for safety, for pedestrians, bicyclists, and vehicles, of course. Try this one? Okay. Memorial Day Parade will be this week on Memorial Day at 9 a.m. It is a very, very important day on the calendar to honor our fallen heroes. We have a parade out here on Westfield Avenue, followed by the ceremony from the American Legion VFW. Please come out and support our veterans. It's a very, very important day on our calendar. I'd just like to give fair warning on behalf of the Clark Police Department. We are getting a lot of complaints and no up on Bartell and Byron The police have been notified. They are going to be out there. And whether you're fortunate enough to get a warning or a parking ticket, that depends on the officer. I'm going to ask you to please adhere to the no parking signs when you're up there. It's very important. You know, they're there for a reason. They're done by ordinance. And if you violate that ordinance, you can be subject to getting a parking ticket up on Bartell and Byron especially. It goes throughout the town, of course, but those are two hot areas we're having. PSE&G has given our DPW shade trees. We have 28. They are 1.5 to 2 inch caliber, different varieties. If you'd like to have one, contact the DPW, and Scott will put you on a list in a first come, first serve type of prize, the way you get it, okay? The other thing I'd like to talk about is the new hot topic of the week is the dredging of the Clark Reservoir, or technically known Reservoir. Resi is from us old-timers in Clark. The was called the Clark Wildlife Preserve and Habitat. I'm not into that. The Resi is what we know it as. But anyhow, I was able to sell that to Union County many years ago for $1. Probably one of the best things I could really hold my hat on as your mayor, because I knew someday it was going to take a neat dredging. And right now the county's looking at somewhere between $30 and $40 million to do that, and they are much more better equipped than a local municipality to do that. About 4 years ago, I started the pursuit and asking the county to dredge the reservoir. Those of you who grew up in Clark for a long time, like myself, remember the days down by the Dorcher Club Featherbed Lane Bridge when you could look out to both sides and there was no vegetation growing in the water. It was clear, wide open. Actually, on winter weekends, there was probably 100 people out there ice skating. It was a very nice place and a very nice body of water to grow up on. We played ice hockey on it. We fished on it. We did a lot on it. And over the years, it is filled with silt. Years ago, before all the environmental rules impacted our state, they would send 2 bulldozers in there every 3 or 5 years and bulldoze the material out, truck it away, and it was really a nice deep body of water. I believe then, and as I do now, we needed this dredging for many reasons. 1, for the environmental aspect, 2, for flooding, and 3, it's such a beautiful body of water that's now cluttered with islands of water vegetation that I think it could be done and used in a lot better way. At that time, Union County told me that they might like to add a recreational aspect to it, and that is their call. It is their body of water, and they have done that, and we have talked to them for quite some time, back and forth on it. They've more or less been letting us know what their ideas were. Nothing at this time is etched in stone. I will say it is a county project. I have worked on many major county projects with the county and always has been very successful and accommodating to work with. As of this morning at 8:30, I was on the phone with County Manager Ed Oatman, who I consider a friend, and told him that there was some concerns I was reading out about on social media. And he had said to me that he will be back to me this week with a date to have a town hall meeting right here in our chambers. In the meantime, if you do have concerns over the recreational aspect or any other aspect for that matter, I would encourage you to email the county manager, Ed Oatman, but I would also like you to email Jim Ulrich, our BA, at ba@rclark.com, so we could take a look at what some of the concerns are and know what went up to the county, and then hopefully be able to have some discussions with them prior to the town hall meeting if they choose to do that with us. And if they don't, it's their body of work, so they'll deal with the public that night. So they've encouraged me to send emails. They've encouraged me to tell you to mark a calendar for the June town hall meeting, which I will alert you all to by many different fashions of information. And they also encourage you, if you'd like to have more questions answered, you're welcome to go down to the county commissioner meeting in Elizabeth to have that conversation with them. I read some of the stuff on social media. I get some of the concerns. Some of it I think gets a little too carried away. The fact that you don't want it is not really, I think, in the equation. The fact that is, if you have an issue. Now, the one thing I've asked for, like I said, dredging. first and foremost, for over 4 years now. Very happy they're going to do that. Secondly, when they brought in the recreational aspect, I asked them to please do not put things behind paths, walking paths in people's backyards where they're going to have strangers walking through their backyards along the edge of the reservoir. They said they would not do that, and we asked for a very thick berm blocking for Genesee Drive, and it is a 50-foot heavily berm. The plan they have is very interesting. I think it's well done, and I know there's some rubs in it and some concerns, and that's what Union County will go over it with you. I would ask you refrain from dealing with the Township Council and myself in this, because we don't have the answers to your questions. It is not technically our project. It is in our community, the host community, and like I said, I gotta say, we put together Esposito Park. Back in the day, I know Councilman Toll can attest to this, he was the councilman up there. In Esposito Park, they wanted to put a children's museum. And I wasn't happy, I know Brian wasn't happy about it, and many other citizens weren't. And we wanted to be an open space of, fields and walking paths, and what you kind of see now. Again, the county has full authority over that. And after the residents spoke to the county, they scrubbed the Children's Museum and went with what you have right there, which I think is another asset to the community. The reservoir is an open space, and it's going to be preserved as that, and it's going to be now taken care of. There was a plan back in 2001 when I became mayor from the previous administration to have a recreational aspect to it in the reservoir, which was walking paths and fishing piers and things of that nature. And I did not follow through with that as the newly elected mayor for a few reasons. One, at the time, we did not have the money. The town was in rough financial shape. And two, we did not have the workforce between police and DPW to maintain those fishing docks and walking paths. It takes personnel to do that. At the time, if you think back to 2021, cell phones were around, but they weren't as relevant as they are today. And the last thing I wanted was to have a little 8-year-old go fishing with Grandpa on a fishing dock and Grandpa take a heart attack and having a young child run up to Raritan Road and flagging down a car. We do not have the personnel for the Clark Police Department to walk those paths at night and patrol them. So we scuttled that program and kept it as is, and that was accepted. And again, at the time when I saw the condition of the reservoir, I thought it was a very advantageous thing to sell it to Union County, and I did for $1. I think it was $10, but I don't even know if they even gave it to me, but I forgave them for it because they did a good job. But anyway, one summer day, I get a call shortly thereafter they'd taken it over from Councilman Toll, and he says to me, there's dead fish in the reservoir. So if you know Brian and my relationship, I said, so what do you want me to do? It's a dead fish. Pull it out, fry it up, and you got dinner tonight. He said, no, you don't understand. There's thousands of them. So I went up to Wendell Place and met Brian, and because of the oxygen level and the shallowness of that water, dead fish, and I'm telling you, this big and bigger, were dead, lying all over the reservoir. The county had to come in with boats and clean them up and take them away. And about 6 hours later, the then county manager, George Devaney, called me and said, would you like your reservoir back? And I said, no, you're doing a good job at it. Get those fish out before they smell. And we laughed, and they did a great job, and they did that. So that's where we stand on the reservoir, folks. Please, I know social media is fun, and we all get on there, and everybody goes crazy. Put your questions down. If you're going to not email them and you're going to send them to us or drop them off, if you write them by hand, legible, so we can understand that sometimes we get letters we can't understand. Not that I have the best penmanship in the world, but if you want your voice to be heard, and we'll forward them up to Union County, and we'll all be invited to that meeting that night, and we can hear what they got to say, and hopefully if there's any little concerns, they can tweak them. That's enough. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we'll move on to reports of the council. Councilman Hund?
Thank you, Madam President. I have the Clark Police Department monthly report for April. We saw a total of 1,924 calls for service, including but not limited to 118 ambulance requests, 4 for fire department requests, 12 motor vehicle and residential lockouts, 75 alarm calls, 80 motor vehicle accidents, 47 shoplifting and theft, 17 fraud and identity theft, 225 or 911 calls, and 1,147 were miscellaneous calls. There was a total of 27 adult arrests, including but not limited to 16 for shoplifting, 2 for DUI, and 6 for warrants. The Youth Bureau handled a total of 17 cases, including but not limited to 1 for shoplifting, 2 for harassment, 8 for offenses against the family, and all 17 cases were handled in-house disposition. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hunt. Councilman Mazzarella?
Yes, thank you, Council President. This is my DPW report for this month. The electronic drop-off will be June 29th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be no drop-off scheduled for May due to the holiday that's coming up. Spring cleanup is complete. As the mayor has mentioned, grass pickup will be every Tuesday. Please, as the mayor stated, in biodegradable bags and only grass clippings, please. No rakes, landscape wood, plastic bags, fertilizer bags, rakes, mulch bags. They are not considered grass clippings. You could dispose of them in your trash. Branch pickup starts in May. Please place all your branches out the 3rd week of the month for DPW to pick it up at the 4th week of the month. Bulky and appliance pickup appointments are required, and please schedule it 1 week before your scheduled week pickup. Bulky and metal pickups are completely different trucks. Please schedule the correct pickup to avoid non-removal of your items. We will be out of root mulch for approximately until June 7th. Please make note of that. DPW is still making available 16-inch free wood placed outside the DPW yard. Please pick it up as much as you want, as long as supplies last, and please keep it neat. No log splitters or chainsaws. And if you need any other information, please contact DPW at ourclark.com for more information, or www.ourclark.com for the schedule of all pickups and programs that we offer. And lastly, I and the Mayor and Township Council would like to wish our DPW staff a safe National Public Works Week. This week, May 19th to the 25th. Keep up the good work, guys. All of council, the mayor, and our community appreciates what you do. Thank you. That's the extent of my report.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman Manitti?
Thank you. For the Clark Fire Department report, in the month of April, they responded to 31 calls. That totals 164 for the year. The calls are limited, but not, include but are not limited to numerous odors and alarm calls. 1 call was for mutual aid, 2 calls for motor vehicle incidents, and 3 calls for mulch and brush fires. I just want to remind everyone that when your mulch is piled too high, it can build up heat and catch fire. So please keep your mulch away from your homes and other structures. And on very hot days that are coming up, please keep your mulch wet down if possible. As always, I'd like to thank members of the Clark Fire Department for their hard work and dedication in keeping our town safe. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Manitti. Councilman O'Connor?
Thank you. From the Finance Committee, we're on budget and closely monitoring all expenditures. And from the Clark Volunteer Emergency Squad, recent squad activities. The squad has been interviewing prospective members and developing ideas to recruit additional adult members. Squad members have been diligent in completing their annual trainings, and the squad and its members would like to recognize the continued support from the Mayor, BA, and Council in its mission to care for those sick and injured in our community. The call volume is as follows. There were 121 calls in April with 2 mutual aid calls with ROA, This does not include any calls that were dispatched to and canceled on. Total hours responding to calls is approximately 842 man-hours. This does not include any hours our members were on duty when there were no calls. And the year-to-date call volume is 464 calls. Membership. The squad is hosting an emergency vehicle operator course on June 10th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Anyone with a clean driver's record who is interested in becoming a driver for the squad is invited. Please contact the squad at clarkvolunteeremergencysquad@gmail.com, all spelled out. Anyone interested in becoming a member can email the squad at clarkvolunteeremergencysquad@gmail.com. And they continue to service the community. The 50th anniversary of EMS Week 2024 is this week, May 19th through the 25th. This year's theme is Honoring Our Past, Forging Our Future. Please keep an eye on for open and congratulate our members when you see them. The squad will be celebrating their members with small tokens of appreciation during the week. Katie Sheldon, squad captain, was named Outstanding EMS Provider of the Year by Overlook Hospital and will be recognized during EMS Week. Please check their lawn signs for all upcoming blood drives. Respectfully submitted, Lori Sheldon, trustee. Thank you so much. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Madam President. From the Recreation and Pool, Friday, June 7th is Clark Family Night at the Somerset Patriots baseball game, and tickets are $10 each. Please contact Ralph Bernardo or Emily Lambert in the rec department at 732-428-8400 to reserve your tickets. Tickets are going fast, and there is a fireworks display immediately following the game. As the mayor mentioned, on Monday, May 27th, is our annual Memorial Day Parade. It kicks off at 9 a.m. on the corner of Nassau Streets and Westfield Ave. The parade route ends at ALJ High School with the ceremony remembering all our fallen heroes. We ask the citizens to please line the streets and cheer on all the various organizations, bands, and marchers who participate. Registration for the Clark Community Pool is taking place. The pool is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. This summer is the 50th anniversary of the community pool, so there's festivities planned throughout the summer. Also, on Saturday, June 29th at the pool from 12 through 3 p.m., there is a skin cancer screening event sponsored by the Clark Health Department. Lastly, the registration for the Clark Summer Rec Program is going on now. Please, if you're interested, register your children ASAP, as over 1,200 children attend camp each summer, and it fills up very quickly. Again, any questions, contact Ralph or Emily at 732-428-8400, and that's my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Councilman Toll.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to keep this brief, but I have got things to put on record tonight. First of all, Mayor, it was over 1,000 carp, 2 feet big or larger, that just saturated the reservoir from the Garden State Parkway Bridge down to the falls. And they kind of floated towards the embankments. And the county came in with their boats, they scooped them all up, they dug a hole with a backhoe behind the squad house and on Rowden Road, dug a hole and put them all in there and patted them down for a nice long nap. And they've been there ever since. That's one of those tales of Clark history. But the question was, why? Why did this happen? It brought an alarm to us. Why all these fish died? And it was true. It was oxygen, shortage of oxygen. And the county started looking at things, and they started to do more. That was about 2004, 2006 range. I'd have to get the exact date. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit vague on that one, but I remember the phone call and who it was from. And that's what happened last Thursday, folks. My phone blew up. You want to be a councilman, this is the job. You get phone calls, you get texts, you get emails. I'm at work. I'm trying to make a buck, pay the rent. And what happens? My phone blows up because the residents along Wendell and Bartell and other sections, it wasn't about the parking, it was about the reservoir, and the county decided to drop this in an email. And the one resident, and I want to say thanks to our clerk who emailed this over to me, and people are asking me, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, have you read this? Have you read this? Do you know what's in it? You can't just read this thing once. You got to read it several times because there's little things hidden in there. You have to just get a better understanding. I spoke to the mayor, and the mayor said exactly the honest words. It's not our property, it's the county's. But we went through the same thing. In 2002, when Pete Esposito died in 2000, he was a friend of mine. I used to go over and farm with the guy. I'm not going to get into my side stories. I'll be here all night, and I know we don't have that kind of time. We have business still on this agenda. Esposito's, we went to the county, and we said, hi, we need to save this open space. County came in and said, okay. They settled up with the girls. They had to do eminent domain with them, but they did. They gave them good, fair market value. They got a lot of money, and they went away. The property was turned out and was originally earmarked from 2000 to 2002, 2003 for a children's museum. There were 13 acres saved in the open space preservation. Open space. 13 acres on that site. The county wanted to come in and put 8 acres of pervious surface, macadam, and cement, and a building on top of it. And there was going to be some buffer zones for the open space preservation. Well, of course, that's not going to happen in Clark because we don't do it in our backyards. But what we did is we used our heads and our logic, and we talked to the neighbors. I went up, and as a mayor who would say, my MO was to go and talk to the residents and see what they felt. Because I'm not going to fight the county. There's 20 other towns with a massive budget. But we talked to them, we learned what we can do, and we ended up having that nixed. So what the county did was a plan. A plan. It wasn't the final product. The only thing we had to kind of settle with was the tennis court up front. I didn't want that in that park. I wanted open space. We got the kids' skateboard park because that's what the local neighborhood kids wanted. But they wanted a tennis court because that's what their surveys, their numbers came back and said, here's what the residents want. I said, could you show me that? That was Esposito's in 2002. It was dedicated in 2006. It's beautiful. People love it because it has the little trail, it's passive, and here's the words I'm going to say tonight, what I want to be on the record tonight. I thank the county for doing the following, and the mayor said it best. Dredge, 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 and more dredging. Not the whole, just one section, do the whole thing. Go all the way down, and don't go just to silt cover. When you read this thing, it says they're just going to dredge the silt over it. What is that, an inch or two? Go down 6 feet. Go down whatever the environmentalists tell you can do. Because you need to go down and open that all up. And once you open it up, you leave it for a couple of years. You don't go building things out to go appease your own constituents. You take care of Mother Nature. The reservoir is not ours. It was a gift from God. If you don't like it, then move. There's plenty of places that have cement. And that's another thing I have a problem with Union County. They like to cement things over. Unacceptable. It's not an angry resi. I don't even live near the resi. But I grew up near it, and I've always loved it. The reservoir was supposed to be an intended use. It was a waterway used for drinking. That's why it was put there. It was a little babbling stream back in the Township of Clark's early days when it was a farm. In 1907, that babbling stream got dammed, and all the farmers sold their little waterway areas, except for one access to go water the animals, and they turned around and they used it for a water resource supply. That was up until the 1960s. And in 1967, everything changed when a young Clark kid who went to St. John's School died trying to cross the resi. In 1967, his name was Dennis Goki. Young kid died. I was a kid. I was 5 years old. And I remember the neighbors. My neighbor was a fireman and rescue. His name was Hufschneider. Him and the other neighbors, Big Al Yursevich, all got up in the middle of the night, slammed the doors. I got woken out of bed, and they ran up to go see what happened. There's a kid who's drowned in the resi. They didn't find the body until the next day. It was a horrible tragedy, and they scared the parents. Our parents scared the heck out of us. Don't go near the resi. Don't go near the resi. That was in 67. 1972. We all know what happened with Mr. Harrison. Okay? It was a horrible tragedy again. Kids weren't supposed to be on the resi. The resi became a fear factor. Don't go near it. Don't go near it. And that stuck for the last 40-plus years. So now we want to dredge it, dredge it, dredge it. And the mayor will tell you what I've always say, and I'm a pain in the ass, folks. That's the truth. Open space. You don't go taking the same thing they try to do with Esposito's, they're trying to do with Oak Ridge. They got to build everything on it. Leave it alone. It's God's gift to us. Let's take care of it and say, thanks, Lord. We'll move on to the next day. We'll walk on it. Have you ever actually gone down to the resi? Any of you? Have you actually walked and looked at some of the most scenic, beautiful in central New Jersey? Leave it the hell alone. That's what I say to the county freeholders. I'm going to say this, passive, non-structured, open space. I'll go to your meetings and I'll say my 2 cents, but I'm only one of you. I'm one. We need you. If you're indirectly impacted and you got this and you've seen this, then get on the phone, call the county manager, call the county chair of the, commissioners now, they used to be freeholders, and say to her, hey lady, hey guys, this is too much. It's God's gift. Let's protect it. Let's preserve it. That's our legacy to our children. If you want to put a floating dock behind the high school where it should have been, or you want to put one behind where the Hungarian club is, Union County bought out the Hungarian club when the club went defunct. Union County bought the Hungarian club property. There's a perfect location to put a boathouse there, and then once you dredge it in a couple years down the road, hey, then the next generation gets it. We're only caretakers of this time, folks. And I'm sitting here wasting yours to talk about an issue that should have been resolved years ago. We don't just put a bunch of playland. This is not Disney World South or North. This is Clark. This is Union County. Let's take care of God's property for once and for all. Thank you, Madam President. I'm sorry to take up the council's time. I didn't do committee reports or anything else. It's just a travesty, though.
And just as a reminder, maybe if we discourage the recreational activity, someday they'll turn around and sell that for apartments and affordable housing, which could happen too someday. So let's be careful what we wish for. We may get it. Thank you.
Meant first, meant for always. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I'd like to give the library report. So as you know, the library catalog is online. It's available 24/7. You can place orders and have your books picked and pick them up. But the library will be upgrading its online catalog system. The bad news is that from Monday, June 3rd to Wednesday, June 12th, you won't be able to place a hold on any books or any materials. So to avoid any issues, please place your orders now or prior to Monday, June 3rd. The good news is the new catalog will be intuitive and user-friendly and will make it easier than ever for you to find what you're looking for, manage your account, and discover new things along the way. As far as programs coming up, the summer reading program, which is one of the big programs the library runs, in coordination with the state theme, will start on Monday, June 10th. The theme this year is Season of Adventure, where every book is a ticket to new and thrilling expeditions. Please sign up at clarklibrary.beanstack.org. As far as events, the Friends of the Library will be having a costume jewelry sale on Saturday, June 1st, 10 to noon. All items are $1, cash only. The County Aging Services Kiosk, Ask Kiosk, will be on hand Thursday, June 6th, available to answer any questions you may have about services that are available in Union County for seniors and also for their caregivers. So come to visit the Union County Aging Services Kiosk and speak to the specialists that will be on hand to answer your questions. The summer reading program for ages 4 through 12 will kick off with a program called Unique Creatures from Around the World, and that'll be held on Thursday, June 20th, available for families to attend at 7 p.m. Attendees are asked to register for the program. They'll be invited to paint a flower pot and plant a flower in it. As far as the summer reading program for adults, they'll have Adventure Bingo, will be held on Tuesday, June 18th at 7 p.m., and small non-monetary prizes will be awarded to the winners. And that concludes my report on the library. At this time, we'll move on to ordinances, appropriations, and claims. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. We have one ordinance for public hearing, and for the record, no objections have been received in connection with this ordinance. Ordinance 24-10, an ordinance to fix the salaries of Department of Public Works employees for the years 2024 through 2027.
Microphone. Nope, I'm sorry. Sorry. I want to open this ordinance up to the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll assume that's to close the hearing, since no one came forward. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, Council?
Yes, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll when you're ready?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese. Ordinance adopted.
Okay, let's move on to the introduction of proposed ordinances.
We have one ordinance for introduction. It is entitled An Ordinance to Amend and Supplement Section 2, entitled Fees of Chapter 122, entitled Construction Codes Uniform of the Code of the Township of Clark.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith.
Yeah, this is a change to our current ordinance to deal with commercial buildings and backflow preventers. The primary reason is to keep the fresh water from mixing with stagnant water in the event of low water pressure. It is a state requirement. We've always been having this process. Now we're just charging for the inspections.
Thank you. Any questions, council? Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
The public hearing on this ordinance is June 17th.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to payment of claims. Councilman O'Connor, will you give your report?
Thank you. I have reviewed the bills totaling $378,194.99.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to citizens' hearing on the agenda. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council, please state your name and address to the clerk. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and shall not exceed 5 minutes in duration, and the public may speak on any agenda item that does not have its own separate public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to come forward?
Daniel Fuchs, 333 Carolina. I am here to speak on the first agenda item for the Oprah bill. So the agenda item says that you support the Oprah bills because they modernize and strengthen the legislative intent of Oprah. The bills start by limiting the types of records that can actually be requested. The bill also goes on to say that a request shouldn't be fulfilled unless confined to a discrete and limited time period and a specific subject matter. That broad language gives the governing body the opportunity to determine if it's an adequate request. This will lead to more denials. Now, I know politicians have been saying that it will save taxpayer money. Politicians are generally only concerned about saving taxpayer money when it benefits them. I'm always going to be concerned when the government intent. Always going to be concerned of the government intent when it comes to their transparency. Now, this bill is led by Democrats, and I know how everything in here turns to be Democrat, Republican, and all that stuff. So this is led by Democrats. But of course, a bill limiting the government transparency has bipartisan support. And it's certainly no surprise to me that this governing body supports this bill, given the lack of transparency that has occurred under Sal's administration over the last many years. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward, speak on agenda items? Seeing no one, I'd like to close this portion of the meeting. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Councilman Toll. Thank you, Councilman Hund. Okay. For the first resolution that we have regarding the... Could I have a vote? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. I skipped ahead. I'm sorry for that. The first item that we have here regarding the Oprah request, our business administrator has suggested that we pull this item from the agenda, and he's going to comment on it right now. Thank you, Mr. Olver.
Yeah, so just following on those comments, again, it was passed by the Assembly and the Senate. There's no reason for this resolution at this point. However, there is a lot of past issues with the Oprah bill, and it is being supported by both sides of the aisle. There's been a lot of egregious requests. We deal with them on a daily basis. Just recently we had a request for 44 years of tax appeals, right? We've probably spent over $1,000 in legal and personnel time on it, and again, there's just one of the examples. We've had examples for all expenditures, over, a 3-year period. Those things, take a lot of time to collate, get, copies, and submit them. So again, people may disagree with this and may think that it doesn't make sense because of transparency. However, there are instances, and those are just 2 egregious ones, and I can, give you a whole host of them because I deal with the clerk on these on a daily basis. I think that it makes sense to limit the ability to, make these requests that are, at times, work against the township, take people away from their regular jobs. And, quite honestly, we're lucky in some respects because we do have Oprah requests, but we never had to go out and hire a person to do it. We have a law firm that does it. Some of our surrounding communities at the business administrators' meetings, this is one of their biggest complaints, among all of everything that's going on in the county. And these aren't Republican towns. As you know, there's only 2 real Republican towns or 2 fully Republican towns. These are all the Democratic towns that have the same issues. So it's not a Democrat or a Republican issue, and it really does give the benefit to the town. One other thing I wanted to bring up is, we've been sued a few times on these Oprah requests, and when we win, we still pay the legal fees. If we lose, we pay their legal fees. Now, how does that make sense, right? It's again, another situation that it's time to, have the openness. I have no problem with it. But when it just becomes egregious, it just doesn't make sense. And I appreciate the support that we had on this, but it's no longer needed.
Madam President, I'd like to also add, anytime you saw me comment on the Oprah bill, I do support Oprah. I sat on the governing body as a councilman from 97 to 2001, where the basic questions we asked the administration for, expenditures for the month, things of that nature, we were stonewalled for weeks and months at a time in getting basic information. Forget the public. That council should know. Basic information. As the last speaker said, it was supported bipartisan in Trenton. I will agree with the conversation that the bill was not a perfect bill by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very upset that the Senate and Assembly didn't add themselves into the Oprah process and have them become Oprahable for things that the public would want. They're exempt from it. The governor's office is exempt from it. So the transparency should be there. People have a right. I think people should also put their name on it, not anonymous, not through an Oprah machine. If you want a question answered, you have every right to have it answered. Put your name, your address, your email on it. That should be in the bill. And then the proper person in the administration will get back to you within the allotted time. So again, was it perfect, that bill? Probably not, but it did help in some different ways in the avalanche of time wasting that we spend, and time is money when you run a business. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, does anyone object to pulling this from the agenda? Does anyone object to that? No? Okay, what we'll need to do is have a resolution to remove this item from the agenda. Okay? Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Thank you, Councilman Smith. Okay, is there any special wording, Counselor, that we need on this? No. No? Okay. So we are going to remove this from the agenda. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, we'll take the roll call.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution removed. Next resolution is extending the recycling marketing contract with Waste Management of New Jersey for a one-year term under exception NJSA 40A:11-51S of the Local Public Contracts Law.
Do I have a mover, council?
Yes, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Maniti. Did you want to comment on that, Mr. Ulrich?
This is just for the marketing of our recycling, so quote-unquote sale of our recycling. So when it goes to the disposal location, they give us a certain amount of money back based on the value of the commodity at that point.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 5 is affirming and ratifying the action taken by the administration to obtain the necessary pool sandblasting services from Rustic Restorations in the amount of $14,395.
Do I have a mover, council?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do you have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Okay, so we are going to be sandblasting the pool. I think it's pretty self-evident what we're doing with this money. Madam Roll Call, any other questions? Madam Roll Call, when you're ready, you can call the vote.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 6 is authorizing the execution by the mayor or business administrator and delivery to Neota Logic Incorporated of a master license and service agreement for use of specialized software services to manage contracts and leases.
Okay, council, do I have a mover?
Yes, I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith.
This is exactly what it says. We're going to get a database to manage our contracts, leases, et cetera. It's tickler system, expiration dates, escalation, pricing. So it's all in a database as opposed to, the process we have right now is a spreadsheet.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 7 is rescinding Resolution 24-80 and awarding the contract for municipal buildings photovoltaic system installation to Easy Energy in accordance with NJSA 19:44A-20.5.
Do I have a mover, council?
I'd like to move that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Did you want to comment
I mean, this
on
is
that?
just the wording change that we discussed at the workshop meeting. We referenced an agreement that's not finalized.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 8 is authorizing a voluntary flexible spending plan for township employees to be administered by Allstate Insurance.
Do I have a mover, council?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Maniti. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. So this plan will offer flexible spending program to a new provider, Allstate Insurance. Currently, the township uses Aflac, and this is a set-aside monies for the benefit of our employees. It's an employee benefit that they pay for, but anyone who's using the old plan with Aflac can have a separate contract, so it's a win-win for all the employees of the township. This time, I'd like to ask for a vote.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 9 is approving the execution by the mayor or business administrator of a memorandum of understanding for the Kane Network program between the township and Kane University.
Do I have a mover, council?
I'd like to move that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Now for the employees,
This is for the employees. If they take any classes at Kane College, they get a 10% discount on in-person, 20% on virtual, and they don't have to pay any registration fees. So it gives the township employees the opportunity to further their education through Kane at a discounted rate.
excellent. I'd like to call for a vote, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 10 is award of contract to DLS Contracting for the 2024 capital road improvements, various locations, in the amount of $401,589.27.
Okay, do I have a mover?
I'd like to move that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Manitti. Okay,
Yeah, it's
we'll
just-
call for a vote.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 11 is approving the fleet management agreement with Enterprise to provide and manage the fleet of vehicles for use by various departments.
Do I have a move? This one resolution was discussed at our March 4th workshop meeting. We had a presentation from Fleet, and we agreed on a motion and second by entire council. So we'll go ahead with that. So you can call the roll.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 12 is authorizing the purchase of one Toro Field Pro Groomer for use by Clark Little League through the ESCNJ Cooperative Pricing System in the amount of $36,718.40.
Okay, do I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman O'Connor. So here we're going to use a national cooperative to purchase this piece of equipment for the Clark Little League, and they will pay the township back, taking advantage of best pricing that we could get for a win-win for the town. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yep.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 13 is seeking approval of the Director of Division of Local Government Services for insertion of a special item of revenue in the amount of $26,133.34 for the National Opioid Settlement.
Okay, do I have a mover, council?
Yes, I'll move it.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. So this is an ongoing grant the township is receiving related to the National Opioid Settlement. And because this grant arrived after the budget was formed, we're amending the budget to accept the grant to be used for the specific purposes outlined in the grant award. I'll call for a vote, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Manitti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 14 is seeking approval of the Director of Division of Local Government Services for insertion of a special item of revenue in the amount of $42,500 for the Infrastructure and Municipal Aid Grant.
Mr. Ulrich, do you have some comments on this?
Yeah, this is a grant that we, again, worked closely with the county and Westfield. We're going to pave from the railroad tracks to Terminal Avenue. Part of the problem with that road is it's in Westfield and Clark, and just to get, the money to do it, we went to the county, worked with the county manager and the commissioners to get a grant to pave that portion of the road, so it doesn't totally affect either Westfield or Clark's budget.
Excellent, great work. Do I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti.
Please.
Okay, Councilman Hund, thank you. Roll call when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. This time we'll move on to consent agenda resolutions.
Okay. First one is authorizing the tax collector to make the proper adjustments for 100% property tax exemption of Block 97, Lot 9, in accordance with a directive from the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. Next is authorizing the tax collector to refund overpayment of sewer fees in the amount of $150. And last is authorizing the tax collector to apply sewer account balance adjustments as credit in the amount of $7,195 and additional charges in the amount of $140.
Do I have a mover, counsel?
I'll move that, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Minetti.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. Is there any new business on the calendar, Madam Clerk?
There's no new business.
Okay. This time, I'd like to open up the floor for public comments. Is there anyone wishing to come forward? Okay, please come forward, state your address, your name. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body, shall not exceed 5 minutes. Good evening.
Sommer. I am a resident at 44 Wendell Place, and my first time here attending one of these meetings. It was very educational. Thank you very much. But my concern, and I'm here with two of my neighbors, is the proposed Spark project, for lack of a better word. And it was alarming to me when I read the extent of what was being proposed there. And so I did some research, and I just wanted to ask whether the council, and this is rhetoric, of course, was consulted on these plans. My concern is the preservation of the reservoir. My concern are the intended project at the end of Wendell, and I believe it's Lefferts, that I believe is part of a deed of conservancy that's recorded back in 1997. And to my knowledge, that deed is still in place, and whether the county or the township will review this deed with an eye towards improvement, the dredging, but overall maintaining the quality of the reservoir as it stands, with, of course, the improvements. But I just wanted to address the hot topic of the week, and hopefully that this conservancy document is reviewed by the council. Thank you.
Ma'am, it wouldn't be reviewed by the township council. I mean, the folks up here you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. The conservancy deed is with the,
Habitat.
the name pops out of my head.
New Jersey Conservancy Foundation.
Right, that's it. Okay. It's been a long time since I dealt. They were one of the reasons I gave the reservoir to the county.
I commend you for that.
Because they were completely unreasonable. But yes, before anything can and will happen there, they have to work with them and, of course, the DEP. So, you know, again, there's a plan out there. It's not etched in stone at this time. And like I said earlier, I'm sure you were here, you could take your concerns to the town hall meeting we'll be having here, or to a county commissioner meeting, or by email. You could send them to the BA. We'd like to have a record of them, too, so we know what's happening. The only thing I will tell you, and I addressed the county manager on it today, we were all kind of surprised by the letter that went out. We weren't given any heads up. And I said to Ed, who's a very reasonable man, I said, Ed, please just give us a heads up so when people walk in, we don't look at them like, where are you hearing this from? So yes, there'll be proper protocols followed. Thank you, ma'am.
Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward?
Ellen Mulligan, 46 Wendell Place in Clark. I agree that the reservoir needs work and dredging and maintained. I'm totally against any building on the reservoir property, on the county property. Let's keep it as God intended it and keep it as natural as we can, open space, so our future generations can enjoy it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward?
Good evening. Delia Collins, 72 Georgia Street, Clark. I have a question about zoning in this property. When the property at 370 Madison Hill Road, which is at the front of where this proposed recreational area is proposed, was cited according to the zoning map of Clark as a R150, which is a one-family detached residential district. When this property was sold by the owner, was that property now deemed open space? Does anyone know if that had to be changed when it was purchased?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I do believe, if I'm going back now, memory, that they had purchased that. It's a part of the plan. It's
sorry?
They had purchased that property along with it, I do believe. Not 100% sure, it's been a long time.
No, I understand.
So I think they do own that whole parcel there.
Okay. On the, what I don't understand, and I know you said you don't want to hear about it, and go to the commissioner meeting, which is Wednesday night, May 22nd, at the Union County offices in Elizabeth. They start at 6 o'clock with their private sort of meeting, and then the open meeting is open when they're done. So you have the right to speak. If they listen to you, you're lucky. Does the county, I was looking on the map when I was sitting there, and it says that the area around the reservoir is considered O, which is a conservation district, according to our zoning laws in our town that I went on the board. And you brought up about don't worry about it. I mean, to worry about it, what they can do with the land. But as if land is zoned open space, are they allowed to build on it like you brought up, that don't be surprised if they decide to sell it?
I really don't want to comment at that at this time.
Yeah, you just did.
No, I'm not going to get into a debate here. I told you all that earlier tonight. If you don't like the project, you go to the county.
But this is something
If
that
there's-
you stated,
I
that
didn't
they could
say-
sell it and build on it.
They could do anything they want down the road someday. God only knows.
But
I don't know.
if the town zones it as a 0, which is open
Open
space,
space, they could come back someday, and I would imagine if it's their property.
they have to come to the town like a builder?
We're going to get into a debate now, and I don't want to do that. So if you
Well, I
have an
wanted
issue.
an answer.
I have no answer for you at this time.
Okay, well,
Fair enough?
you should become a commissioner.
There you go. That would be good. You can represent Clark. We'd appreciate it.
Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward?
Nancy Twaskis, 43 Colonial Drive, and I'm coming forward to commend the Clark Police Department for driving around with their blue and red lights on, I guess, at night. I'm a night owl, so when I sit in my living room looking at my computer and I can look at my front window, I could tell when they're approaching because I could see the lights coming and then going past. And it seems to be pretty frequent, maybe every hour and a half or so. And so I'm happy to see that that's being done, overnight when there, might be things going on when everybody's asleep. And I was happy to be here to attend, to hear the police get their recognition tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward? Seeing no one, I'd like to close this portion of the meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Going to move on to mayor, council, and professional comments. Mayor? I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Nothing at this time, Madam President. We'll see everybody on Memorial Day at the parade. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Hunt?
Yes. Congratulations to the police officers on their promotions and their awards that they received today. Wishing them safety out on their job, and that's, like as I said earlier, their main concern is when they're out there to be safe. Congratulations to the 8th grade boys basketball team on their successful season. 31-10 is a great season, and more games than the mayor and I would play in a given year. So when we coached our boys, so that congratulations to them, and then have a safe and healthy holiday weekend, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Hunt. Councilman Mazzarella?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. It's finally getting nice outside, and it's a good thing. But please, ladies and gentlemen, be careful. Working outside, it's getting warm. Stay hydrated. Be careful walking around, especially when it's getting dark out. And please don't forget to lock your vehicle and your residence doors at all times. Don't want to have any break-ins. Our police department is doing an outstanding job traveling through the night, through the entire community. But if you see or hear something, please just don't hesitate to call police department. They're going to respond very quickly to ensure your safety. Till next month, be well, stay safe, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman Minnick?
Thank you, Madam President. I also want to congratulate the Clark Police Department Award recipients and the promotion of Josh Weber. Congratulations to Ray Gonzarowski and his team, the 8th grade travel basketball team. As most of you know, I am the president of the ALJ Booster Club, and tomorrow night I will be honoring all our Spring Athlete Award and Letter winners. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at ALJ Auditorium. Come out and support our athletes. They do a tremendous job, and I can't wait to congratulate them tomorrow. And wishing everybody a happy, healthy, and safe Memorial Day. That concludes my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Minnick. Councilman O'Connor?
Thank you. Congratulations to all those who received awards tonight, and congratulations to the promotion. Thanks to all the volunteers in the townships, and of course, thanks to all the veterans for all you've done for this country. With Memorial Day coming, and I'll switch it over to you.
And Monday, Memorial Day, hope to see everyone at the parade. Kicks off at 9 a.m., and we're usually over at ALJ High School around 10:15 when we do this ceremony. So look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Toll.
Thank you, Madam President. Delia, hi. I got an answer for you. The property was owned by St. Agnes Church / the Archdiocese of Newark. They sold it to the county took it over. The only thing that the county picked up later on was that white house that was right next to the entrance of St. Agnes Church. All that L shape was St. Agnes land. They were always talking about building a school, and they built a semi-portion with a gym and stuff, and they modified and modernized back in the 90s. So that's the answer to your question. County owns all that. That's county. If they want to put a new park there, the only ones who are going to stop them is you, us. And how to do that? Very simple. Emails, texts. Here we go. County freeholder and the chairman is Kimberly Moud, M-O-U-D-E-D. Her phone number is 908-527-4112. Again, 908-527-4112. That's Kimberly, the chairlady of the Union County Freeholder Board. County manager, who's a very nice man, as the mayor has stated. I've actually met him several times. He's a nice guy. Ed Oatman. Mr. Oatman's phone number is 908-527-4200. His email is eoatman@ucnj.org. Call them up. Say hello. Tell them what your thoughts are on this issue.
Brian?
Yes.
Can I just ask you a favor? I just instructed the public earlier this evening to send it on email.
That's fine.
So we can monitor what's going on.
And you send it in exactly.
We don't know. Making phone calls and getting the hysteria and yelling about it, it's good theatrics. But at this point, I've put a mechanism in place so you and I and everybody out there knows what's going on. You could send it directly to the county, your email. I would ask you to send it through Jim so we can look at it. We have a record of it. We could go back and say, Mr. Oatman, Mr. Jones asked this, Mrs. Smith asked that, Mrs. McGillicuddy asked that. Do you have an answer for it? Or when he comes to the meeting here to do that? Look, whether you like this project or not, I don't think it's something to get hysterical about. I mean, they're not building a nuclear power plant here in Clark. It's a reservoir dredging with some recreational activities. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Can we please, I know you're not a fan of email, Brian, you don't watch them or answer them, but please let us do the process the way I laid out with the county manager. It's easier for everyone. Thank you.
As long as we're communicating, that's all that matters. And how we communicate, whatever century we're in, we'll get it done. To those, you have the voice. We're just one voice. Please be heard. It's the way democracy works. For those we lost in the last month, Ron Hohen. Mr. Hohen was a former Clark Volunteer Fire Department, a longtime custodian of the Clark Library, and he was a member of American Legion Post 328. To Sherry, his daughter, Ronnie Jr., and Denise, his wife, and to all the grandkids, our deepest condolences. He was a friend who I saw every Sunday because he told it like it is and said, hey, what are you guys doing? And Ronnie would say it like it is. I'm going to miss Ronnie. Anthony Tony Acello, A-C-O-C-E-L-L. Tony Acello was the barber on Westfield Avenue across from where the Town Hardware, Ace Hardware was then Town Hardware, but he was the barber for many years, and he just retired a couple years ago, and now he's gone. His father was Angelo, the barber, who had his shop on Lincoln Boulevard. So again, to the family, we're very sorry for your loss. Joan Mary Donovan, loving mother of Peg Ferrara and mother-in-law of Marty Ferrara, who used to sit in this seat. To the Ferrara family, I'm very sorry for your loss. I'm just going to end this with, this is your town. You want things done, you have an objection, something doesn't seem right to you, then be heard. We're very simple. We're here because of you. I thank you for your time tonight. I'm sorry I've taken up too much time, and we'll see you, again, wishing you a happy and healthy holiday season, and to all the graduates, all the best.
Mr. Ulrich, do you have any comments?
Yes, I want to commend the police department and all the hard work and the awards. We really do appreciate it. I spent a lot of time with the police department making sure that, they have all of the resources that they need, and, it's showing on the job that they're doing. I do want to make two more quick comments. As part of the award ceremony, Gina Marietta, she's been here for 2 years doing an unbelievable job. Send her an email. I get the information back in moments. It's on top of it, doing an excellent job. And again, 2 years in the job, it's makes my life significantly easier. And the other unsung hero, Debbie D'Angelo, who I probably know for about 35 years now from back in my ambulance squad days. Again, you don't realize all the work that's done behind the scenes, and it was great that they got the awards this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that. Madam Clerk, we have an upcoming election. Do you have any comments?
Not necessarily about election yet, but I do have a couple of additional comments about the Open Public Records reform. As you know, it has passed both houses. It currently sits on the governor's desk. The governor does have the ability to veto it. If he does nothing, it becomes law within 45 days. What the people may not know is anytime they do any transaction with the Township of Clark, their name and address is now a public record. There are no safeguards for residents currently. The only thing we can protect is your phone number. We can assume it's unlisted. We protect your banking information and your social security number. Everything else is out there. So we still are working on that tax appeal request from 1980 to present. It has tied up my office more than one full day so far. It has tied up the chief financial officer. Mark Dugan's office is working on it. We had to ask for an extension. So our work is delayed because of it. The other thing that the law would hopefully prevent is companies who do, they are data brokers, and they request information so that they can sell it to a third party. That also includes names and addresses. The only protected class are law enforcement officers, judges, and their families. None of the rest of the residents are protected in any way. They also request all tax liens and sewer liens, and there are companies out there who will prey on people who can't afford to pay their bills, and they call them up and hound them and tell them that they have to use their company in order to clear their lien, which is not true. So these are the types of things that hopefully the law will make a difference. We are happy to give out regular public documents. We have 7 business days to do it. We try to clear them as quickly as possible. If we can get the documents in my office in the same day, we satisfy it in the same day. If it takes, sometimes it takes the whole 7 days, but for the most part, we get it out. We're happy to do that for you. The anonymous requests are very cumbersome, and I don't know what people are afraid of, why they don't give their name, but if they actually would give their name to us, some of these requests could be narrowed down so as not to tie up all of these offices, and we would be happy to give you the information. So just a caution to the residents, if this does not pass, just understand if you license your dog or you need to deal with Town Hall for any reason, your name and your address is a public record. Thank you.
Madam President, I'd just like to say, Edie, that was spectacular the way you explained that. Thank you so very much. And I think, you know, an innuendo to be made about us being transparent or not. We've been transparent with everything we are legally able to give by law. We have been. This gotcha game, the political game and the gotcha game, I think people should grow up and act like adults and spend their time with their family, their job, or their hobbies, or whatever else they want to do, because it's the gotcha game. You know, a tax appeal from 1980 going forward has tied your office up, has tied the office. It's a ridiculous. Number one, I'm 63. I was 20 years old then. Maybe this person wasn't even alive at that time. God only knows. What was a tax appeal in 1980? A house in 1980 in Clark, a Cape Cod house, was probably selling for $70,000 or $80,000. So what in the hell were the taxes on it? $2,000 or $3,000? So an appeal might have been $100 or $200 then? Right. You know, it just doesn't, the gotcha game is just, or to learn or to use it as a political sounding board is what the problem I'm against. Anything else, I know you as this clerk well, and I know the diligence you chase these Oprahs down, because you don't want to personally be fined if you don't do it. She could personally be fined.
Yes.
And we would never ask her not to do that, to slow down the process. She's been as diligent as any clerk, I believe, in the state in trying to answer these requests. Be adults, ask for the stuff that you need to ask for. Play the gotcha game somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you both for those comments. Madam Clerk, just to clarify, on the anonymous requests that are made, when you say if we knew how to get in touch with people, you're referring to clarification of the request?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's clear to everyone. We don't necessarily need to know their name, but because we don't have that, sometimes the requests are very vague and you don't know exactly what they want. And we can only produce records that we have.
Correct.
I'll start with the lack of transparency, since you mentioned that, because my antenna went up on that. I think that being a member of this body, we've done everything possible to be transparent. For example, these meetings are televised, and we were on the bleeding edge of televising our meetings. We had a cameraman who would come physically to the meetings. We were the ones who pushed the Board of Education to put their meetings on TV, because most people came to our meetings and talked about the Board of Education because of all the problems over there. So we were the ones that pushed them to do that. The meetings are online. Everything's available. Don't know of any incidents of that have come up regarding lack of transparency. I will say the mayor mentioned the previous administration. In the previous administration, he talked about the fact that they didn't have information given to the council members themselves. They couldn't get information. In addition, they would present new agenda items at the meeting. They would give you a pack of paper about as thick as what Councilman Toll presented and would expect you to vote on it that night. We passed legislation that said you cannot add items to an agenda without a 100% vote of this council. You cannot add items because the public needs to know what we're discussing at these meetings. I don't know, Mayor, if you want to add a comment on that?
Yeah, I put in the 48-hour rule that years ago when I was a member of the governing body, we'd get a stack of papers dropped on our desk at 5 to 8. Back then, the meetings were at 8. And they'd say, read it, we're voting on it tonight. And, you're trying to get through it as quickly, and you think you digested enough. And then, you go home and you reflect back on it, and you do a little more homework, and you go back, and never happened to me, but it happened to one or two council people when they would question the mayor at the next meeting. He'd say, didn't you vote on it? And they'd say, yeah. Well, do you always vote on what you don't understand? That kind of gamesmanship was always going on. So we put the 48-hour rule in. Without getting the information 48 hours prior to the meeting, you need a supermajority vote of the council, because back in those days, everything was split 4-3, one party or the other. So you always needed one from the other party to add it to the agenda, and that knocked that nonsense off quickly. And by the way, I was supported then with a 7-0 vote with 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats on the council. A 7-0 vote.
Well, I think what added salt to the wound, but it was always a shady item that was being added, something that...
Yeah, it was always,
it was intentionally done.
Of course.
That was one of the problems.
Of course. And I hear the nonsense I hear out there today. They should live through the 90s. They should have lived through the 90s. Thank you.
On a more positive note, thank you very much to the 2 captains this evening for a great presentation. Great to hear about all the great things the officers are doing, especially the life-saving of this 3-year-old, 7-year-old, et cetera. We see the AED machines, but really it makes a difference when you hear the lives that have been saved by those actions. Good luck to our new detective, traffic safety detective, Joshua Weber. Fantastic resume, great candidate, and lots of luck. Boys who were recognized this evening, great job. It's great. We have a fantastic tournament, as we've discussed over the different meetings the past few months. So it's nice to have one of the teams that wins is a hometown team. As far as the gun violence awareness, if you have firearms at home, please make sure they're locked up, they're safe. We heard about some of the accidents that happen here unintentionally. So please be mindful of that. And that concludes my comments this evening. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.